What's going on, guys? It's Spark Flips here. Today, I'm going to be flipping over concrete this entire video. Because in this video, I'm going to be going over my top 5 favorite Balisong beaters. So, if you don't know what a Balisong beater is, it's any Balisong that you don't really care about beating. So, like, if you drop it, it's no big deal. Generally, these are like more cheap Balisongs, but they can really be any Balisong of your choice. Doesn't really matter. Just any Balisong that you don't care about dropping or injuring it, hurting it, damaging it in any way. It's not a concern. So without further ado, let's get into my top 5 beater Balisongs. So coming in at number 5, we've got my Squiddy B. So this is a plastic Balisong, but interestingly enough, for it being plastic, this is actually extremely durable. It can take a pretty good beating from the time I've had it. Now comparing this to like other Balisongs that are plastic, like the Frank P, I've seen people like crack that and it break. And I've seen that same issue with this normal Squiddy, like just the OG Squiddy. I've seen issues of those like cracking around the weight area in the end and also in the pivot area, which basically completely breaks it. But I don't think I've seen many people with the same problem with the Squiddy B, which is why it's on the list. But the reason it's so low on the list is because it's plastic, so it's not as fun of a flipper, not as competitive as a metal Balisong. So yeah, that's the Squiddy B. Next up, coming at number 4, we've got another Squiddy. This is the Squiddy Owl. Squiddy Owl, extremely public friendly. So if you're looking for that, something to flip outside in public and not worry about damaging it, because it's very good at taking a beating. This thing also hides scuff marks pretty well, considering how much I've beaten this. You can definitely see scratches across like the face of the handle. But yeah, it hides it pretty well because it's just raw aluminum. I can't really speak for the other like color variants, but I'm sure those would probably show scuff a lot better. So if you want that, then get the other colors. But if you want to hide the scuff marks more, then just get this version because it does that pretty well. Yeah, that's the Squiddy Owl. Very, very nice beater. And yeah, that's why it's on the list. Next up, we've got an absolute classic. Not just beater Balisong, but Balisong in general. We've got the Kraken, which probably curious as to why this is not number 1 or 2 on the list. And that is just because, like, I think it's just too expensive for me to actually beat enough to put it up there. But I definitely do still beat this quite a bit, just not as much as the 2 that are above this one. But you can also see a few scuff marks on this. Nothing too crazy though, but quite a few. But yeah, so that's the classic Kraken. One thing about the Kraken is that any good flipper out there, like any crazy good flipper out there, is always going to have an extremely demolished Kraken in their collection, which is kind of a cultural standard at this point in the hobby. So yeah, that's why it's coming in at number 3 on the list. Anyways, that was the Kraken. This is the V3. V3 trainer in gunmetal, to be exact. And yeah. Next up, we've got my personal favorite flipping beater that I have, which is this is the Tsunami clone from Bali Plus. So no, this is not authentic. I would never beat an authentic Nami. That would be kind of sociopathic. But yeah, this is the Bali Plus Nami clone, which hides the scuff so well that you can barely even tell that I beat this thing at all. The titanium is just so durable that you can't really tell at all. But yeah, this is probably one of my favorites. I probably flipped this the most lately. Like, the Mako, or sorry, I just spoiled number one, but the Mako is going to be up next on the list, and that I definitely have beaten more than this. But I definitely flip this a lot more now than the Mako. Anyways, that is the Nami clone from Bali Plus. Definitely recommend this if you're looking for a really durable beater. Only issue I have with this is that the pivots, both of these pivots have backed out like probably 4 or 5 times now. It's not that big of a deal, I just gotta re-screw them back in, but can get annoying at times. Yeah, that is the Bali Plus Tsunami V4 clone, I think. I think it's the V4, I could be wrong. Anyways, next up we've got my number one favorite beater. And if you are a true OG to the channel, you'll know this is my first Balisong that I flipped in any of my videos. My first video on the channel is with this guy here. And yeah, this thing is extremely beat up. Get some zoom in here, but yeah, definitely quite destroyed on the handles here. So yeah, this is just, I don't think it flips as good as the Nami, but I think it's just because of how beaten this thing is. It's gotta take the number one spot. And it does flip amazingly well still. And I think it's the only Balisong in my collection that I can truly drop on concrete like more than 100 times and genuinely care less about it. Because it's just so beaten at this point. But yeah, this thing actually really held up for a long time before the tolerances kind of backed out on it. But yeah, it has tapped now pretty bad. But it took a while, like it took a lot of beating to actually loosen those tolerances up. It's extremely impressive for what it is, for it being on washers. But yeah, I don't know if I'd recommend this as a beater, to be honest, just because it's still on washers. Maybe they drop a V6 or something with bushings, and then I would recommend it, but a little too pricey for what you get. Definitely recommend like the Squiddy Owl over this if you're looking for like a good beater. This is just a personal choice. So yeah. Anyways, that is my top 5 favorite Beater Balisongs. And yeah, that is the entire video. I guess I'll end it off with, we'll end it off with this. I think that makes sense for this video. See you guys later.